Hello, everyone. After reading books about the Terminator universe, I wanted to answer some questions that may arise after watching the Terminator movies. Some facts exist only in the books, so I decided to make a video where I share various interesting facts about the Terminators that appear only in the literary universe or were omitted from the films. So, the first fact essentially answers a question many might have had after watching Terminator. Dark fate about the T-800 named Carl. Many were puzzled as to how a Terminator could sew curtains if it could only see in red. The answer to this question can be found in the very first Terminator book, which is based on the original movie script. At the very end of this book, there is information stating that when the Terminator's outer shell was completely burned, the fire damaged its lenses, making infrared vision unavailable. As a result, the Terminator switched to normal spectrum vision, which made it even harder to locate Sarah and Kyle in the factory. Not only were the active machines confusing its sensors, but the regular darkness also made it difficult to find its target. So, the answer to the Terminator's vision question has been around since the release of the first movie's novelization. The Terminator can see just like us. In fact, the Terminator Cameron from the Sarah Connor Chronicles also used standard vision, proving that Skynet had developed this technology long ago. Next fact: the T-800 Terminator is capable of consuming food. However, not all books emphasize this. Some state that the living tissue covering the Terminator is sustained by blood pumps located in its back. However, books like Sterling's trilogy go further, explaining that the pump alone is insufficient and that the Terminator must replenish its blood and nutrients. Therefore, the Terminator can eat food, with a preference for baby food, protein, and nutrient mixtures. However, they could also consume regular food. Interestingly, the concept of a Terminator eating was supposed to be included in the first film, but the idea was ultimately scrapped. The next fact was briefly mentioned in the films, but is explored in greater detail in the books. The Terminator's skin can regenerate when damaged. According to the books, the speed of regeneration directly depends on the food the Terminator consumes. Additionally, every T-800 unit has a pre-programmed skin configuration. In one of Sterling's novels, a T-800 was placed in a bath filled with a nutrient solution, which allowed it to regrow its skin to match the Model 101 template. This scene may have inspired the one in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, where a T-888 Terminator regenerated its skin in a similar manner. The only difference is that the T-800 in the book did not require plastic surgery after the process. Skin regeneration was also depicted in Terminator Genesis, where the T-800 pop's hand fully regrew over time. The next fact is often misunderstood after watching Terminator 3 and 4. Many assume that the T-800 has the same power source as the T-850, two nuclear power cells that can be removed and replaced like batteries. In Terminator Salvation, we are even shown the power sources for the T-800, which visually resemble those of the T-850. However, according to the books, this is incorrect. The T-800 has an iridium-based power source located in its chest, functioning as a small reactor. Unlike the T-850's dual power cells, this reactor cannot simply be removed and replaced. It occupies much more space, and each T-800 has only one. The next fact concerns T-800 Terminators operating in groups. T-800s can use satellite communication to coordinate with other Terminators in real time. According to the books, all Terminators, regardless of model, are equipped with a signal receiver that allows Skynet to directly control them on the battlefield, effectively using them as avatars. In Terminator 2: The Future War, the Infiltrator, a 950, constantly issued commands to T-800 units in real time via satellites orbiting Earth, making battlefield coordination highly efficient. The next fact resolves one of the biggest plot inconsistencies in the Terminator universe. Why did all Terminators shut down when Skynet's core was destroyed, even though earlier films showed that Terminators could operate autonomously? Again, this relates to the signal reception function of Terminators. At any time, Skynet can take direct control of its units, and when this happens, their internal chips shut down to prevent command conflicts. For example, A T-800 cannot self-destruct under its own programming, but when controlled by Skynet, it can be used as a suicide unit for defense. This is why, when Skynet's core was destroyed, the Terminators near it froze in place and shut down. However, as John Connor pointed out, the war wasn't over yet. Many Terminators were still operating autonomously at the time of Skynet's destruction because they weren't being actively controlled in real time. The same logic applies to Terminators sent into the past. They simply followed pre-programmed missions without direct control from Skynet. T-800 Terminators can swim. However, there is some inconsistency between the books and the films on this matter. In Terminator Salvation, the hybrid Marcus was seen floating on the water's surface. However, in the novelization of the fourth film, Marcus actually walked across the riverbed instead. Marcus is much lighter than a T-800, though. In Terminator Dark Fate, a T-800 was seen walking underwater. However, in Terminator 2, The Future War, a T-800 not only swam but also managed to catch up with a yacht while swimming. So there are occasional discrepancies between the books and the films. And now, the final and most interesting fact of the day. The T-800 is Skynet. This isn't just a book or movie fact. It's an obvious truth that many either overlook or ignore. How did Skynet come into existence? Cyberdyne Systems discovered the broken chip from a T-800. Using it, they created an artificial intelligence, effectively repairing and reactivating the chip. Since the chip could learn, its self-learning function was enabled, and over the course of 13 years, from 1984, when the chip was found, to 1997, when Judgment Day occurred, it evolved into Skynet. This fact also explains why an older T-800 can always defeat more advanced models like the T-1000, T-3000, or Rev-9. The reason is simple. The T-800's AI laid the foundation for Skynet's evolution, meaning its intelligence played a key role in designing all future Terminators. However, the newer models are not so advanced that they leave the T-800 without any chance of winning. The T-800 can always outmaneuver more advanced Terminators by using the environment, additional weapons, and allies, something no other Terminator model is capable of. That's all for now. If this video gets a lot of views, I'll make a second part where we discuss how to actually kill a Terminator.